In the HVAC industry, we use steel pipe during installation of much of the equipment we service and install. You will probably hear it called black steel, black iron, or black pipe. Black steel or black iron or black pipe is just slang referring to steel pipe with black paint on it, or no paint at all, as opposed to being galvanized. The use of galvanized pipe has largely been replaced with PVC. You may encounter it, though, in older homes. The steel pipe we use in the HVAC industry can come threaded or unthreaded. If it is threaded, it will have a thread protector on the end like the lower picture. Full lengths of steel pipe are 10 foot and 21 foot long. Pipe diameter is measured by nominal pipe size. It is the standard in North America. Europe uses a different standard. With steel pipe, it is measured by the inside diameter. The schedule of a pipe is based on the wall thickness of the pipe. There are other schedules, but the two most common schedules you will encounter are Schedule 40 and Schedule 80. Pipe is coated to prevent corrosion. Basically, the idea of corrosion protection in our industry comes down to keeping the steel of the pipes from being converted to iron oxide, or rust. The main way in which this is done is to coat the pipe with something that prevents the oxidation reaction from occurring. The two most common examples of this are galvanizing and painting. When ordering lengths of pipe, you would tell them the number of pipes you want, the length of pipe, whether it is 10 foot or 21 foot, the rust protection, the diameter, the schedule, and whether you want it threaded or unthreaded, also known as plain. So you would say, I would like to order 23 lengths of 21 foot black 3/4 inch Schedule 40 threaded pipe. Pipe sizes can be confusing because the terminology relates to historical dimensions. For example, a 1/2 inch black steel pipe does not have any dimension that is a 1/2 inch. Initially, a 1/2 inch pipe did have an inner diameter of a 1/2 inch, but it also had very thick walls. As technology improved, thinner walls became possible, but the outside diameter stayed the same so it could mate with existing older pipe, increasing the inner diameter beyond 1/2 an inch. Pipe size is specified with two numbers: a nominal pipe size, or NPS, for diameter based on inches, and a schedule for wall thickness. NPS is often incorrectly called national pipe size due to confusion with the national pipe thread. NPS bears little or no resemblance to the actual dimensions of a pipe. A 1 inch Schedule 40 pipe, for instance, has an actual outside diameter larger than 1 inch. It has a wall of 0.133 inches and an inner diameter of 1.049 inches. For all pipe sizes, the outside diameter remains relatively constant. The variations in wall thickness only affects the inside diameter. The higher the schedule number is, the thicker the wall is on the pipe. On the slide, the picture shows you the different dimensions of Schedule 40 pipe, also known as standard pipe, and Schedule 80 pipe, which is also known as extra heavy pipe.
Pipes that are painted or have some sort of protective finish on them to stop corrosion. Eventually, though, that protective coating wears off and corrosion will happen, whether you use galvanized pipes or black painted pipes. Fittings are essential for joining black pipe together. There are two main joining methods for black pipe fittings: welding or threaded. You will most likely be exposed more to the threaded type unless you pursue a career on the industrial side of HVAC. Fittings are categorized by class. What is meant by class is that depending which class they are grouped in, the fittings can handle different pressures at different temperatures. Malleable fittings commonly used in the HVAC industry come in Class 150 or 300. Class 150 fittings are generally used with Schedule 40 pipe, and Class 300 fittings are generally used with Schedule 80 pipe. The class is important to know. Class 150 fittings are made for lower pressure applications, while Class 300 fittings are used for higher pressure applications. Cast iron fittings are grouped into classes 125 and 250. Class 125 fittings are for use with Schedule 40 pipe, and Class 250 fittings are for use with Schedule 80 pipe. Cast iron fittings are brittle and can be broken with a sharp blow. Malleable fittings are not easily broken. They are of a softer metal and tend to distort when they are hit by a sharp blow. On this slide, you can see some of the more common fittings that are used in the HVAC industry in the picture on the upper left. The upper and lower pictures on the right side of the slide is that of a T. The upper photo is a Class 125 cast iron T, and the lower photo is a Class 150 malleable T. Picture on the lower left is of some different nipples. A nipple is considered any pipe that is 1 inch longer and up. A 1-inch nipple is referred to as a close nipple. It is actually longer than 1 inch. The length of a close nipple is dependent upon the diameter of the pipe. A close-lip nipple will have no space between the threaded ends. A space or shoulder nipple's length is also dependent upon the diameter of the pipe. A space nipple has a small area of unthreaded pipe between the two threaded sides of the pipe. When you order a nipple, it is measured end to end, so it will include the threads in the overall length of the pipe. Let's say you needed to order a T like the one pictured on the upper left of the slide. Ts are ordered by giving the largest run size by the smallest run size by the branch size. That picture shows you what the run is and what the branch is. Since the T is all the same size, you would order it by first specifying what type of rust protection you want. Then you would tell them the class you want and the size. It does not have to be in that order, but you must include them all. So for that T, we would be ordering a galvanized 3/4 inch, let's say class 150 T. The upper center picture is of a black reducing T. So you would order that one exactly the same. It's the largest run size by the smallest run size by the branch size. So ordering that one, you would order a 3/4 inch by 1/2 inch by 3/4 inch black, we'll say class 150 reducing T. The picture on the upper right is of a reducing coupling. It would be ordered by the largest size, followed by the smaller size. It is a 3/8 inch by 1/8 inch black, and we'll say class 300 reducing coupling. The picture on the lower left is of a Street 90. To order that, you could say I need a black FTP by MPT class 150 90. Or you could say I need a black class 150 Street 90. The picture in the lower center is of a bushing. To order that, you would give them the larger outside dimension first, followed by the inside dimension, the class, and the fact that it is a bushing. The picture on the lower right is a 90. you would say, I would like a black 3/4 inch class 150/90. Cast fittings are ordered the same way, but you would specify that you wanted a cast fitting, or you would give them the class number for the fitting. When you are joining pipe to a fitting, there are some steps that you should follow. Number 1, you should always inspect both the male and female components prior to assembly. Your threads should be free from mechanical damage, dirt, chips, and excess cutting oil. Your second step, you would apply a thread sealant. Sometimes we use Teflon tape on top of what we call a pipe dope. Sometimes we only use a pipe dope. If you're using a Teflon tape, you normally wrap it 4 to 6 times around your pipe threads. You don't put it in the fitting unless it's a male type fitting. And then you would apply an even coat of thread sealant. Before you put the thread sealant on, you want to make sure that you thoroughly mix it. You would apply an even coat to the male threads only. You would then hand tighten the fitting onto the pipe. How far it tightens on hand tight is dependent upon the diameter of the pipe you're working with. After you hand tighten it, you would then wrench tighten it. You never want to thread the fitting completely onto the pipe so that no threads are showing on your pipe. The pipe should not bottom out into the fitting. If a pipe screws all the way into an MPT fitting without binding, the threads are either misthreaded or the fitting is worn out. The tapered thread seals by a means of interference fit between the male and female threads. Over tightening the connection can easily split the female portion of a pipe thread connection. This is especially an issue when installing male pipe thread into cast iron fittings.
Pipe threads are different from machine screw and bolt threads. Machine screw and bolt threads are designated NC, National Coarse, and NF, National Fine. The biggest difference is the taper on pipe threads. Threaded pipe and fittings are threaded NPT, which stands for National Pipe Taper. The taper on MPT threads allows them to form a seal when torqued as the flanks of the threads compress against each other, as opposed to parallel straight thread fittings or compression fittings in which the threads merely hold the pieces together and do not provide the seal. As the thread body is tapered, a larger diameter keeps compressing into a smaller diameter and finally forms a seal. No clearance remains between the peaks and valleys of the threads because of the taper. NPT threads are also sometimes referred to as MIP, male iron pipe, which describes an external pipe thread end connection. Typically, it is threaded into an FIP end connection. FIP describes an internal pipe thread end connection versus the external MIP. FPT, female pipe thread, is the exact same as FIP. MPT is the exact same as MIP. The outside diameter of the male thread tapers down from the base, so the end of the fitting has a smaller outside diameter than the base of the fitting. The matching female thread has a larger outside diameter at the opening, tapering down as it goes in. If you look at the picture on the right, you see the picture of a threaded pipe. In the previous slide, we talked about tightening a pipe into a fitting. Here you can kind of see what they are talking about as far as hand tightening and wrench tightening. If you notice, total thread length includes complete threads, incomplete threads, and the washout thread. The wrenching allowance is the useful thread length for tightening past the hand tight position. When you're tightening a fitting onto a pipe, you want to be careful that you do not over tighten it, especially in a cast fitting, because you will risk actually cracking the fitting. Some of the equipment used to apply threads to pipe are shown on the slide. The upper left picture is a drop head die set. This can be used to hand thread a pipe, or it can be used with a power threader like the one pictured on the upper right. The picture on the lower left is much like the picture on the lower right. The difference between the two threaders is the one on the left must be hand oiled while threading, and it is easier to transport. The one on the right is larger and has a large oil reservoir and a pump to supply the oil as you thread.